That's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine. All everybody. Sunday slot. Now, usually, I'd have some other stuff, like The Witcher, or Elric, or some other sci-fi or fantasy thing. But, way back in the day, when Assassin's Creed Syndicate came out, that was the last game I touched. And all the newer Assassin's Creed games from Origins to Valhalla to Mirage and Shadows I never touched because on principle I was upset with the change in the gameplay. Now, to most of you that might not matter, that's fine. I'm not here to talk about the games though. I decided to read some tie-in media because I rather liked Mirage and Valhalla a little bit. So I have Assassin's Creed Mirage, Daughter of No One by Maria Lewis. This basically serves as a backstory novel to the leader of the Hidden Ones in the video game Assassin's Creed Mirage. She also appears in Valhalla, but that doesn't matter as much to... This is just a prequel book about this character. So do you need this to understand Mirage or to understand Valhalla? Not at all. As I've done with other video games, franchises, or other... Like the Star Wars Expanded Universe, though that's a bit different, it's a lot more involved. Or the Halo EU, you know, it's just a piece of tie-in fiction. It's adequate. The pros aren't anything to shout from the mountains about. They're adequate, they get the story across. It's fine. It's quick-paced, reads fast, and it was a decent read. I enjoyed getting a deeper insight into this particular character. Is it anything I'll particularly remember 10 years down the line? Not really either, but it was a fun enough experience. So if you ever played Assassin's Creed in your life and you want some decent tie-in material, there you go. If you want to know if you want to spend money on like Assassin's Creed Mirage, for instance, this may be a book to pick up first to kind of like get a vibe. Not that it's entirely the vibe of what Mirage is going for, but I think if you like the character, it might make you want to pick up the game. Pretty short review, I guess. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. I'll get into some spoilers if you don't want that. You can get out. But if you don't want spoilers, that's time to go. So we kind of have two different time periods. We have 824 AD, and then we have 819. 819 is more of her past, and then 824 is more of the present for the story going on. So we follow Roshan. In 824 AD, she's in this prison in Fustat, which is, I looked it up, because, again, the thing about Assassin's Creed is these are historical fiction narratives with sci-fi stuff as well. So I looked it up, and Fustat is the first capital of Egypt that was under Muslim rule. And so we start off with her in prison. We jump back in time to 1819, and it's kind of confusing because it's 1819, present her at that point, but she has flashbacks even further back. But this is in Baghdad, and again, Baghdad's going to be a big part of the Mirage video game, so you get to see that prior to going there. When Roshan was 14, her and her sisters were sold into slavery, or to servitude, to like a husband, not really a husband, but it is a very messed up situation. in terms of her parents are very poor, so they would sell off their children. So there's a lot of trauma that Roshan faces because that she doesn't want to be. There's a romance that'll happen later, or a possible romance, but Roshan simply has no interest. She's not bisexual. She's not straight. She's not gay. She's she doesn't want any part of romantic interactions because of what happened with her past. So, but the thing that kind of sets off her path moving forward is we don't get the full context, we don't get the full explanation. We just kind of cut to her having killed her master. And so she's on the run after that. Also, not exactly sure, but it seems to be the case that Roshan has eagle vision. Now, eagle vision is the sort of thing, depending on the Isu DNA that you have. Isu, so this is where things get confusing. If you have never touched Assassin's Creed before, Isu are the first civilization. Basically, all magic in Assassin's Creed is real, but it's not magic. It is technology that you don't understand because it's from the first civilization that came before us. Anyway, so Encio, Altair, Connor, Edward, they could all use eagle vision. As the new games came about, it just became the people you play as had birds that would essentially do the same thing for you, but you didn't have any special power. But it seems like she seems to have that ability. I could be confused about that though. And we cut back to present day, and a hooded man helps Roshan escape. The hooded man helps her escape on the condition that she does something for him. And that if she doesn't help him, well, he still helped her escape, but he'll be sure she gets caught soon. And if you thought they were horrible to you now, imagine when they catch you after having escaped. So he gets a team together to collect this item, which I imagine to be a piece of Eden. I don't know how you say his name, but there's this guy traveling around in the past with Roshan, and he's very good at fighting and stuff. And he kind of helps her learn how to fight and defend herself and all this stuff. I mean, she defended herself against her master, but like properly, like against groups of people. And he seems to develop feelings for her, and at one point he admits his feelings to her, but she simply can't feel what he wants her to feel. There's no ill will, there's no negative feelings. She cares about him, but after everything that's happened to her with her master, she cannot offer that. But they remain on good terms, which I thought was a very nuanced little discussion that they had. I mean, she kind of runs off, kind of like a teenager, but in this instance, I think it's acceptable because of what she's gone through. So yeah. We jump ahead a little bit, and these men come and attack her and the people she's been staying with, which includes Adawai, and he dies. She ends up meeting with a guy named Dorvis, who we will meet in Mirage if you play the game. And by the end of all this, she gets introduced to Folda al-Hami, probably pronouncing that horribly, but it seems like he's the leader of the Hidden Ones at this time, and he introduces her to the organization, and she joins. So, also, I was going to do my own separate video on this, but I simply don't have enough to talk about. It's only 3 issues long. Mirage comic, A Soar of Eagles. Basically, Folda and Roshan are on a mission together, and it's fine. I really don't have too much to add. It gives a little bit more insight into their relationship, their friendship. But beyond that, I don't think it's really necessary. But anyway, those are basically my thoughts. Like I said, it's fine. It's a perfectly acceptable story. I enjoyed reading it. I had a fun time. It was nice and short and sweet. It wasn't as complicated as like a Wheel of Time or Malazan, so it was nice to take a little breather. Um, but yeah, overall, check it out if you like Assassin's Creed. And until next time, nothing's true. Everything is permitted.